Welcome to Doing Good HQ. I'm Aaron Jack, your host here with Artist to Art on the Doing Good HQ channel. And we're going to have Darko here, Darko Ristevsky. So I'm so excited for you to be here with us today and to talk about NFTs and to be here and just to say, what are NFTs today? That's really what we're going to go into, because Darko is the guy. Darko is the guy. So we are going to get Darko right in here with all of these Instagrams and all of the shares, all of the bouncing in, bouncing out, the excitement. Welcome.
Hello.
All the way from North Macedonia, right?
Yeah,
Amazing. Welcome back to this moment in time. How are you?
great. Enjoying the day. Trying to get some sleep, but I'll do that a bit later.
So what's the latest in NFTs that everybody here should know?
Oh, the latest. Which part? Like collectibles, art, technology? Because there are tons of stuff happening. Like it's crazy.
Tell us. Just get into it and just like what's on the top of your mind that you're like, wow, like this is the latest. This is what everybody should know about. This is
Oof.
exciting.
I don't know. Like probably usually the collectibles communities are always on top. They're doing new things. It's always fun with them. Like the apes, cool cats, the ape gang. I'm probably forgetting some of them. So please don't kill me if I forgot some of the collectibles. But yeah, that's on the collectible side. On the art side, it's getting a bit more crazier because there are so many new artists coming up with so many new things actually happening, like in the art, like combining technology, art, the visuals. The good thing with the NFTs and the digital art is like the video stuff that are coming up, and especially glitch art is getting some nice movement.
Wow, tell us about this glitch art. Like what is that? If you're excited about it, I want to hear about it.
I'm always excited because I've seen like amazing artists, like one of them being Treasy Trunk. Shout out to Treasy. Treasy is probably one of my most favorite artists that's doing that. Robness is one of them. Brain Pasta. I'm, I'll try to remember everyone so I don't get killed by them if I forget someone. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening. So usually, like let's say it's Treasy's side. He's doing like amazing, like let's say digital paintings and photography collages that he combines them with glitch effects. But he's doing like amazing pieces. Like shout out to Treasy Trunk if you want to find him on Instagram. He's an amazing artist. You can see his latest piece on, I think it's unknown origin.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So what is there like this a history that we should know behind the glitch art and what's going on with it and how we can engage and know more?
I'm sure there is, but I'm not definitely not the right person to tell about that. I wouldn't like to share like any false information.
That's fair. That's fair. So what can you tell us? What's that like? What's that excitement to you? So we've got the collectibles, we've got the fine art, we've got people doing weird mixture, and you have stuff going on with music, right? As well.
I mean, I do try to combine music and animation mostly, but it's usually like the pieces that I'm trying to create, not trying, I'm creating them. Some of them are inspired by traditional printmaking, like etching and graphic prints. The other things are animation and still kind of roaming around that part, like with the traditional graphic printing. But I'm trying to add some technology, like combining generative art with the fine art, the combination, like trying to do that.
Wow, what does that look like to you? What do you imagine is happening now, and what do you imagine is going to happen in the future with combining this generative work? Maybe you can explain a little bit about
So
that.
because a lot of people were actually kind of angry because collectibles took a lot of the market, like from the fine art market. That didn't actually happen, but yeah, a lot of people were buying into the collectibles. So I kind of tried to combine both of the fine art and collectible worlds. So that way, I'm going to create like the project that I'm working on is actually layered tradition, like it's some of them are made digitally, some of them are created on paper, some of them will be etchings hopefully if I manage to get the right equipment. But so what I'm doing is actually creating a lot of layers, same as the collectibles. Like I have one base layer, and after that, on top of that base layer, there will be other pieces that will be coming on top, creating one unique image.
Maybe you can show us a little bit because I think you have your computer there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me find something.
Perfect. Yeah, and while we're waiting, I just want to give a shout out to Doing Good HQ because we're
So
on the Doing Good HQ
this
platform. So
this is
thank you so
actually the
much.
first time. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no,
This
go
is
for it.
actually the first time these pieces are coming in, are being shown in public. So these are still like work in progress files, but this is more or less what's going to happen. So this is one of the images. I'll keep the name still anonymous. I won't tell the name of the project and how everything goes. But yeah, this is basically the thing that I'm working on at the moment. I hope that it's visible, more or less. So yeah. Oops. So these are
Are
just.
you looking at the front facing camera or the back facing camera here?
It's a front-facing camera. Wait,
Oh,
let
you can just switch it around. You can just flip
yeah,
the
yeah,
camera there. There you go. Just flip the cameras.
yeah, not the
So then
door.
you can see. There we go. Because now you can see what's happening.
Guess this is good enough.
Yeah, would you like to? Yeah. Would you like to talk about it? Just tell us a little something.
At the moment, I would not share too much. I would just say that like just the process of creating. So is the layers like the base layer is one of the bottom. Let me see. I think that I have the yeah. So the black and white squares in the background are actually the base layer, and on top of that, I don't know if the mouse is visible. Yeah. So on top of that goes another layer that's created like I try to get the traditional etching effect for those and lithography. So I try to make like traditional prints combined to look like digital generative art. I don't know how to call it at the moment. But yeah, this is basically what's happening with these pieces. So this is just one sample. It's going to be 300 different pieces, which is many backgrounds.
300.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa. Explain this. Like you're taking the one thing and then you're going to make 300 pieces from it. Explain what's going on and how
So
you're
yeah,
going about it.
probably there will be around I don't know about 50 different layers. Probably it's going to be around 5 or 6 layers depending on the sample on the NFT. But and they will be all randomly generated. Every layer will be randomly generated. Of course, like they will be prepared like which goes on the bottom, which goes on top, etc. But basically, that's what's happening with these.
And
And
what program is that? Like how are you going about that? Can you talk about like that process?
that's the process of the dev. So he should be preparing the generator to program everything so it works. I'm just preparing the art, the story, and the idea.
Wow, so there's like two of you on the process on the whole thing, or there are like multiple people? Like how is that?
There might be more people, but at the moment we're two people working on it. I mean, I'm working on the visuals. The dev is working on the development side, so creating the custom contract, the generative part, the minting part, etc.
Wow. So can you explain a little bit more about those aspects? Because I think maybe there might be people on here that aren't so familiar with NFTs, and I think to get them, and even if they are familiar with NFTs, um, maybe they could understand a little bit more about what's involved in that generative process as you're exploring it and getting in depth in it right now.
So once the pieces are created, like if you want to mint and something on the blockchain, you have to have like a custom contract. That's the name, the term that's being used. So the custom contract is actually giving the, let's say, the orders of the image. How will the file act on the blockchain, and what can be done, like the interaction and all those things. So inside that custom contract, like for example, like for these kind of pieces, like what I'm doing, or the collectibles, usually the dev creates the order, like what's happening, what's the amount, the rarity of the layers, like which layer will come, how many times it will come up in the generator, etc. So that's how it's actually, how the rarity of the items is actually being done. So that's the same process will be done on these pieces once again. That's more or less.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out this this aspect about the rarity, and like you're basically coming up with all of this artwork in like Photoshop layers, and then there's like process getting done in order to like generate and discuss rarity and what's rare and what's not rare, how much of something there is, and how that ties into smart contracts and all of that. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that part.
About the smart contracts or the other thing?
Both. I
I
think
was,
there it seems like there's two different things that really need to be discussed here.
yeah, that's why I don't want to jump too much into the smart contracts, because it's not my field of work. So as before, I don't want to add any false information, because like I think that especially for things like this, true information is really important. But if I remember something that I know, I'll definitely share. On the art side, so right now at the moment I'm creating the files and the layers and all of those things. So once I have everything finished, which should be soon, because I mean, if it's collectibles, it's really easy. You have one base character, and after that, on the base character, you add, I don't know, like hats, glasses, beards, eyes, etc. So more or less, it's a lot easier. But for a project like this, it gets a bit messy, because every base layer is completely different from the other ones. So I have to combine like every layer that goes on top of the base layer to make a good composition with the base layer, which is actually, there's no base layer when you think about it, because it's different files. So the hard thing that's with this kind of project is to create every layer to be like to be complementary with every other layer, which is crazy.
How many layers are involved in all of that? Like what's
At the moment,
that?
there's 30 base layers. Like the first layer are just 30 layers. There'll probably be around 30 for every other layer, but we'll see. Those things can change really easy. Sometimes it can, like when you do something can come up and look great, and you can just add it. But that's not a problem at all. It can just give more variety to the image.
Wow. So what are some things that you've learned while working on this project? Because it seems like a very intense project that you've learned
Yeah,
a lot
patience.
doing.
Patience. Have patience. That's probably the most important thing in this project, and many sleepless nights. And especially it gets crazy when you work on 3 other projects. It can get a bit messy to know what to do, when to do.
What would you have like gone in differently? Like if you were to do another one, what would you do next time that
For
you didn't know? Like if you went and did this project again from where you
that's the
started,
fun part.
what would you go in next time with?
There's nothing I would change, because it's really interesting, because this is literally creating abstract work inside an abstract work inside another abstract work. Like that's the interesting part. So I mean, the learning part is always there. Like you create something and then you find another way to create it or something. It's more of the in the technical parts, like using the brushes, the layers, and all those things. But more or less, like the idea has been sketched. Like it's a thing that I've been doing like for many years, and it's been evolving and evolving and evolving. Because some of the works that I've done for this project have been sketched. Like I have the full piece, like how one piece will look like when it's finished. But now that I have those sketches, I have to separate them like from the sketch. I have to separate it like which layer will go on top, which will be in the middle, etc., etc. So there's not much of a learning curve because it's not like for the collectibles there is a learning curve. When you create the collectibles like with the characters, you find some problems that you come up with that you wouldn't expect, but with this thing it's completely different.
Have you seen a lot of other projects that are generative with abstractions
Not really. There haven't been many of those so far.
on the blockchain,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
right?
I haven't seen any anywhere, not just on the blockchain.
Oh, I've got to introduce you to some people.
I know what you're thinking, like generative, like development, but this is a bit different because you combine, like you have already prepared everything, and then you have to combine everything to work together. But yeah, you definitely have to introduce me to those people.
There was a moment when I knew a lot of generative people, and before all this NFT stuff. Um, so it's really interesting. What is the tie between the generative and the NFTs that you see? And
So,
is that and how does it tie to art? How does it tie to community? How does it tie to like the things that you're like on Clubhouse every day talking about?
Uh, I don't know. Like it all started like with like a few years ago. Like I was looking at the. I mean, I've been interested in the blockchain and all those things, but when NFTs came, I mean, it was still like the thing that I didn't know when I started learning about it. And kind of when things exploded, actually things exploded around February, March. But I've been like looking more interested into NFTs probably since October, September last year, but I still wasn't feeling ready to jump in and mint something. I really wanted to understand the space, what's the idea, what's the culture. Because the interesting part about NFTs is not just the art that you can just put art, digital art there, etc., and you have the authentication and all those things. It's really interesting that there is a extremely big amount of people that are there for the NFT culture, not just for the works.
Can you talk a little bit about the NFT culture? Where is it? What's happening in the NFT culture? What would you like to see?
What would I like to see? I mean, the things that I like to see, I see them every day. Like, there's always something new coming up. It's really, sorry, my bird's getting crazy.
Wait, you
Um,
have a bird?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Show us
A
your
parrot.
introduce us to your bird.
I think that won't be possible at the moment. I think he's stuck somewhere.
Your bird is stuck. Wait, what's your bird's name?
Apu,
Apu?
like the villain from Samurai Jack.
Whoa, well, okay. Well, if you get a chance, I want to meet your bird.
I
So,
think he'll come. Yeah, it's just crazy.
I love that. I love that so much. Um, so what if people on here aren't familiar with NFTs and NFT culture, what should they know and how important it is for them to be involved versus just saying, I'm going to release some NFTs? Like, what is that?
So for people that are joining the NFT space, my suggestion would be to understand how NFTs work, not how custom contracts work, but what's the basic idea of the custom contract and what can be done with the custom contract. To understand like how the security is definitely one of the most important things because like the blockchain and crypto is kind of easily accessible if someone can hack you like with phishing sites and stuff like that. So yeah, security is definitely something that's really important to talk about.
Could you talk to us about security and what you've learned and what should people know about security in the blockchain?
By security, I mean like when people create like their first wallet or whatever the amount of wallet it is, like the most important thing is not to save the seed phrase inside on the computer or take a photo. Like write it down on paper and hide it somewhere safe. That's the safest way to keep your seed phrase like safe, because there's tons of stuff that can hack into your computer, like I don't know, like keyloggers. There have been some other more advanced hacks lately happening, but still, if you're not clicking like links that you don't think they're safe, or that you don't know what they take to, downloading stuff that you don't know like who you're downloading from, and I don't know what, there are probably other things, but yeah, usually it's links and files, downloaded files that can harm your wallet.
Well, can you talk a little bit more about that in terms of why not to do that with seed phrases? Like what can be done, and how what are different ways to protect your seed phrases, and why that's important?
Some people go like even further, like they hide their seed phrase in the safe, in a safe or something, so just to have it like on a secure place. Because the seed, like once you create your wallet, and if you like you write down your password, etc., but the pass, even someone has your has your password, it's not a problem, because if someone tries to log into your wallet where you keep your finances and funds, if someone tries to log in, they will be sorry, asked for the seed phrase. If they don't have the seed phrase, that they can't access your wallet. So if someone has the seed phrase, then your wallet is definitely like available for hacks, like to be opened up, which means that someone can literally take your finances, your NFTs, whatever you have on your wallet or that's connected there.
Wow. And what do you suggest that people do? Is there a way to like store them in other uh, places or other wallets, or what can people do to keep their work and money safe
The
in all of
safest
this?
option would be cold wallets or hardware wallets like Trezor, Ledger. There are probably others, but yeah, that's the safest way, definitely, because you store your finances and NFTs on a cold wallet that's not connected to the internet and to the computer. So that's definitely the safest way. And I suggest to everyone, once they start doing this, like I don't know, either if it's crypto or NFTs, whatever it is, to store their important stuff on cold wallets. Because even people that are long time like OGs in the NFT and crypto space have been hacked. Like not that often, but it can happen. So cold wallets are definitely the safest way to store everything.
Wow. So once you have like a certain amount of this crypto and the NFTs, get a cold wallet, store it offline. And what happens if you lose this cold wallet? Basically, you're screwed, right?
There are options to bring it back, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Okay, so basically, be sure where your cold
Oh yeah,
wallet is.
definitely. I would even
Okay.
suggest I like some people don't feel that secure, so putting it in the safe, like in a bank or something, is definitely the safest way.
Wow. So this is a whole thing. What are the basic things that people can do when they're just getting into it to keep themselves safe and secure within this space?
Definitely not opening like links that come from people that they don't know, which is something that's happening a lot, especially on Discord. A lot of people are getting like there's so many bots and people trying to scam other people on Discord by sending like links where you connect your wallet, and once you connect your wallet, it can be like you're open for being hacked.
Wow.
One
So
second.
this is crazy. This is crazy what's happening out there. So people are just like opening up random links. The links are going and downloading malicious malware, different things like that, right? Viruses. and then that is screwing up their whole system.
That's not happening that much as it's happening like with phishing sites. So let's say someone sends you a link that says OpenSea.io, but there's usually like in those links there's usually at least one letter or something that's not, that's like, let's say if it's OpenSea, it will be OpenSea or something. So you see the just when you just see the link, like checking it out, and you click, you'll have the option to connect your wallet. So once you connect your wallet, it might ask you for your seed phrase. And once you enter the seed phrase, you're actually giving access to the person on the other side to your wallet.
Wow. So basically, be very sure when you enter that seed phrase where you're entering the seed phrase.
Exactly.
And
Usually,
when
if you're using like when you're using your computer, you'll be asked for your seed phrase. So once when you open it, and usually it shouldn't be asked like more than once after a while.
So it's only when you're like opening it on a new browser or something like that.
Yeah, new computer, new browser, or new phone or something.
Okay. So that's when you'll be asked for that seed phrase. Enter that seed phrase once because you know that you got it from the right site, and then you shouldn't really have to enter it again, and you want to check it like 50 times.
The seed phrase is asked to connect to the wallet, so you don't have to connect to any of the platforms or any website that's asking for permission to connect to your wallet. Just when you open your wallet, you will be asked like for the seed phrase, so the wallet knows that it's you, that it's your wallet, so they can connect you.
Right, because then we have multiple wallets, right? We have a Tezos wallet, we have a MetaMask wallet, we've got this wallet, that wallet, 50 different wallets, right?
Yeah, mostly.
I mean, how many wallets do you have?
I think it's 4 or 5. It's because the problem is that, let's say, MetaMask does not support Tezos, and MetaMask does not support Solana. So just because of that reason, you have to have different wallets, which kind of makes things a bit more secure, because like if someone hacks one of your wallets, at least they won't get everything from that wallet.
Right. So it gives you a little bit of security in the fact that you have multiple wallets.
Just a bit.
You only lose most of whatever you're working on. Keep your eggs in a couple baskets in this is what you're saying.
Oh, definitely. Like, I mean, even if there is a certain wallet that you're using like more often, like probably the best idea would be to send all your valuables to another wallet, like create another account, like because you can create more accounts. Just create another account just to send those things, like the important things on that wallet, if you're not using the cold wallet.
Right. So send them to another account that you're not sending stuff in and out from.
Yeah.
Kind of like a storage wallet.
That's usually the cold wallet, but until you get other cold wallets, that's probably the other best option.
Would you call this a hot wallet?
Yeah, probably. A warm wallet.
Warm wallet. It's not quite hot, but it's definitely warm. So what are some other things that you've learned about NFTs that you think that the community should really know more about, that you're seeing, like, there could be more education about?
I don't know. The interesting part about the NFT space is that every day is a new experience. Like, you learn new things literally every day, because there's so many like creative people that are coming up with new things that literally every day I get into that space and talk to someone, I learn something new. I mean, it's amazing. That's one of the things that I really love this space about a lot.
So back to this idea of NFT culture, that it's not just like, oh, I have digital art, now I can put up an NFT. Can you talk about this NFT culture and what you've experienced and what it is for someone to join the NFT culture?
It's not like an exclusive thing, like that someone is coming and they have to ask for permission or something like that. It's not like that at all. Like by NFT culture, I mean like the fun parts of it, like the things that I was talking about, like learning about the blockchain, how things work, like because there's so many things, like, and if you focus, let's say, on creating art, it would be nice to understand how those things work. Like it's usually people just come in and I created this and I want to sell it, and they expect that they will sell right away. Especially like when you see a lot of on social media, when you see a lot of posts about someone selling for 2 millions, 3 millions, 4 millions, and people expect that they will do the same thing. But the NFT space is literally the same as the traditional space. You have to market yourself, you have to work on the marketing, create the audience for that. So it's literally the same. And then comes that like more technical part from the blockchain.
Well, could you explain that a little bit more about like you have to market yourself, you have to work your way into it. Like there's many steps along the way. There's many aspects and like the social side of it, maybe.
The social side of it is the fun part. Like you go into a space, like I don't know, like if you want to, let's say, I don't know, like be an draw, if you want to do drawings, like talking about outside of the NFT space, you'll always try to find people that are doing that, because once you get into those circles, you'll meet more people, you'll learn new techniques, you'll probably find galleries or other things that will connect you with those people and that will expand your field of creation. So it's literally the same thing with the NFTs. You just jump into it and learn. There's some basic learning curve in the beginning, like the security, the basic stuff for the NFTs and the blockchain. So it's literally like anything that you've done that you want to start from scratch.
So where should people go? Like what if they're just getting into it, what are the places that they should go and how should they interact? As kind of like a new, if they're a new person in the space, what are some kind of things that you could share, like to dos and not to, to dos and not to dos kind of thing? Like do this, don't do that. Like act like this, don't act like that. Because I'm sure you've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, do not act like I'll start with do not act like this, because that's probably the easy part. Don't be an asshole, and that's it. Like be a good person, and you'll do the good. The places that are probably the best places to visit for NFTs and for crypto is probably not probably, but Twitter is definitely one of the places, and the other place is definitely Discord. Of course, there's Reddit, and there are other platforms like for sharing stuff, but Twitter and Discord are probably the ones that are mostly used. Even for crypto, like Twitter is definitely like the place to be.
So Twitter Spaces, and you're also on Clubhouse too, quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Clubhouse too. I almost forgot, even though I'm using them a lot. Well, I mean, lately there's been some transition, some smaller transition, like from Clubhouse, between Clubhouse and Spaces, but still, Clubhouse is definitely keeping up with everything.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that, like between the Clubhouse and Twitter,
Well,
and what that transition is?
before Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse was probably one of the only applications that were used for talking, like with voice chat with more than one person or a few persons. Like, I mean, not in a way like how we were used to do. So Clubhouse was one of the places, and then came in the Twitter Spaces, which kind of combined a lot of people. And Clubhouse at the time was you had to have an invitation so you can join Clubhouse. And in the meantime, when Twitter Spaces came out, it was a lot easier for other people to join the Spaces. I mean, they didn't need an invitation to join the Spaces and listen to people talking about the ideas or drops or whatever it is.
So
So
really that exclusivity versus the inclusivity, but now Clubhouse is inclusive as well.
yeah, exactly. But I think right now you don't need an invitation to join Clubhouse. I'm not sure like how it works at the moment. But a lot of
I think
people
you
that
just joined on. Sorry,
yeah,
go.
a lot of people that missed that time when Clubhouse was pretty much active in the NFT space couldn't, because they couldn't join. Twitter Spaces kind of gave them that option to join that kind of communication and to understand and to learn more.
So what are some to-dos and not to do, like some things, maybe some etiquette in Twitter Spaces versus Clubhouse?
Oh, I it's more or less is the same thing. Probably the only difference between Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse is on Twitter Spaces you can have, I think it was 8 people on stage, and on Clubhouse you can have as many people as you want. So sometimes that can be a good thing. Like if you have if you have a room where you have like few speakers, 8 people is enough. But sometimes, like on Clubhouse, there are rooms where you have like 30 speakers that talk on a certain topic. So you're not able to do that on Twitter Spaces. So that's the good side of Clubhouse.
Wow. And maybe for those who are new to NFTs, could you talk people through what you've seen in terms of minting, and maybe there's like something that you'd like to share, some like learned lessons in the process of taking the art into the NFT world? Like what is that? What have you learned in the process that you think people who are new to the space should really know?
That's the thing I was talking about, to understand how the blockchain functions, at least the basics of it. There are tons of videos like on YouTube that you can find like on the basics on how the blockchain functions. And on when you find that, you can also find like how the NFTs are actually working. That's the tech part of the NFT space. But on the minting side, like the minting side is pretty much easy, but the first time it can look complicated because you have to add all the data, etc. It's usually like putting up an image or an audio file or video file. I don't know, like on some platform, like I don't know, on Facebook, where you have to add like name, etc., etc., etc. There are probably few more steps that might confuse people from when they see them, because they see something that's not familiar to them, like for the first time. So that's why I mentioned the learning a bit about the blockchain. So once they have that basic knowledge, those things will be a lot easier to understand, even though there are things that they are the things that you don't have to worry about it at all, more or less. But once you see something that you don't recognize and you have the option to click it yes or no, it can kind of get you into a more scary zone.
Wow. So, but you're talking about the more scary zone. What should what is that, and what should
Well,
what do you think the basics of those YouTube videos, like that would kind of give people the basics here, that you're like, these are some points that people should definitely know.
yeah,
Like what are
it's
those
just
points?
it's just the basic terms of the blockchain and NFTs. It's not like something complicated. But I don't know, like when I don't know, it's like some people start minting things and they see like metadata or properties and stuff like that. And if you don't know what it is, it might make you feel uncomfortable. Like, did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Like the first time when I was minting, I knew the terms and I probably minted the same file like for 5 times in a row because I was missing some things. But it's a learning curve. It's nothing scary, especially if you're using Rarible or OpenSea. It's pretty much easy because you're not paying for every minting, because OpenSea and Rarible have the option. It's called lazy minting, which means once you put the piece on their platform, it's still not minted on the blockchain. Like the piece is still somewhere in between. It's not on the blockchain. So when someone comes to the platform and buys that piece, the the person that's buying the piece is actually paying gas, which means they're paying the gas that you were supposed to pay for the minting. So then the piece gets minted on the blockchain. Once someone buys it, the piece goes on the blockchain. Otherwise, it's somewhere in between. I hope
Interesting.
this clears things out.
Hmm?
I hope this clears things out a bit.
Yeah, I think like all of this information is just really important for people to know about, as they get into the blockchain space and get involved in these different platforms, including Doing Good HQ. Just thank you for having us on this channel, on the Doing Good HQ channel here. As people get involved in these different spaces on these different platforms, just knowing some of the terminology, knowing what people are talking about, getting involved in the clubhouse, the clubhouses and Twitter spaces, having a little terminology, I think is helpful, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. GM is the most important thing to know. GM, good morning.
Right. It's always morning somewhere.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And Alan said like crypto and NFTs never sleep, so it's always good morning. Like
They don't really sleep, do they?
no, no. Like
Someone's always on there, right? Someone's
yeah,
always talking
definitely.
on it 24/7, right?
I mean, that's the interesting part. Like, you go to sleep for a few hours and you wake up, I don't know, like in the morning, and you just go to check like if someone's in either on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces or in Discord. And there's always, because of course, like because of time zones and everything, there's always someone that you'll find online. And you can always find someone to talk and to talk about topics that are new. And literally 5 hours of sleep can you can miss so many things in those 5 hours. If something comes up like right away, some things explode. Like in 1 hour, something happens, and while you were sleeping, you're definitely missing something. But that's probably also the fun part.
Like the FOMO of it all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
There's always something going on, and there's always something going on in
Always.
another room, right? So what are some things that happened today that you were just like, was there anything that happened today or this week or from NFT
For
NYC that you were just like, oh, that's pretty cool because you've been in the
NFT
space for a
NYC,
while.
yeah, NFT NYC was pretty cool event because so many people kind of like had the chance to meet in person. Like that was amazing. I didn't have the chance to. I mean, I had the chance to go, but I couldn't. Like politics problems, visas, etc. But let's not go into that. But people that were in New York had the chance like to present their projects. Rare pizzas like the Pizza DAO, which I'm part of. They had the NFT reveal in New York, which was amazing. So there were exhibitions and I don't know, like parties like the Board Ape Yacht Club and the Cool Cats and the Only Force had like these amazing parties, like for their members. So that's another interesting part. Like for let's say for the Only Force, like whoever owns an NFT of the Only Force had the chance to go to their parties, which was the same thing with with the other collectibles, which was kind of, and that's the part with the exclusivity, and that's the reason why some of the NFTs are actually having that high prices, especially the Board API Club.
So the exclusivity is like a whole aspect that we're seeing, and then in
That's at least
person.
one of the that's at least one part of the reason why that NFT is valuable. There are other things like they have roadmaps, I don't know, like merge for their it's yeah, but when you say it, yeah, it's the exclusivity.
Could you talk a little bit more about how they're creating exclusivity and where you see that going? Just before we wrap this up in a few minutes, I'm just
Yeah.
kind of curious before that.
So let's say for the boy tapes, they had like, I mean, they're collectibles, like 10K collectibles. So what they did, they gave, I think the first part of the roadmap was that they had a bathroom in the on their website where only certain members could go and draw in the bathroom. Like that was kind of like funny and interesting, like funny thing to do. But then they took out like, I mean, they did a so good job at marketing that a lot of let's say, famous people joined like the club, and they kind of raised the value of the NFT, and people started, like, the people that were selling the apes kind of increased the price with those those people coming into the space. Then they gave their members the chance to get like merch, which was exclusive only for the people that were holding the apes. After that, in New York, there was the party. They had another another merge drop. Yeah, that was like another merge drop. They had like for the Olympics. They have also merge drops that were only available only for their members. So that's more or less where it's going. Right now, I think they're working on a token that's the Bored Ape token or something. I still don't know like what the name is, which will kind of give them more, let's say, power, financial power. So those tokens will probably go to the holders, and there will be an option to buy more tokens. Like, it will be a cryptocurrency in a way.
Wow. So it's really creating like exclusivity and something and financial gains for those people who are holding the Bored Apes.
Exactly.
So the longer they hold it, the more wealth they're gaining.
That's probably going to happen with the Bored Apes. I mean, at the moment they're still not there with that phase, but that's probably going to happen. There are other NFTs that are doing that already. Like, they have like their coins, they have liquidity pools, staking options.
Wow, so it's all getting tied into the financial system.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
there's like,
So
hmm
even like being a holder of a certain NFT can kind of bring you more financial gain just by holding the NFT. That's for certain NFTs, like usually for the collectibles.
Interesting. So the collectibles then become ways in that people can create financial gains
Yeah,
through
exactly.
holding them.
Yeah. Like an investation, like you invest in something that's kind of giving you passive income.
Oh, wow. So some of these are really giving people passive income just by holding them in their wallet.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stake your, like, the certain token that you get. You have to stake it. You have to do some things, but those things are usually explained in detail, so it's not that much of a problem. Like, even for people that are entering the space, it's not that's of a problem to do that.
Wow. So that's on the investment side. So there's kind of like the creator side and then there's the investor side and what those different sides are, right? Whether it's collectibles or whether it's fine art or whether it's like what are these different things or like the utility of it all and how they create financial gains or just people loving art and just investing in the artist and their careers.
Yeah, exactly. For the fine art, it's a bit different, like, compared to the collectibles. There are some artists that are doing that, like they're creating their own tokens, or they kind of make something that's giving kind of passive income or something to the holders. But for the art pieces, it's usually the art, the artist, and the story behind the art and the artist. So it's a bit more relaxed with the art. But as I mentioned before, like, you have to do like all those things. It's not like you're just joining in the NFT space, you're minting something and it's selling right away. You definitely have to kind of work your way up. You have to do the marketing, share your work, etc.
Uh, could you maybe talk a little bit about that before? I think, maybe we'll go on for another 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah,
here,
no
but
worries.
maybe you could just talk a little bit about that aspect, about what you've seen as like good etiquette or not good etiquette, um, of selling work, of marketing, of sharing the stories, what kind of annoys you since you're sitting in the rooms all day, and what you're like, wow, like I'd like to see more people share their stories like this.
Yeah, I mean, usually everyone has different story, and sometimes it can be personal story for the artist, sometimes it can be like story for the work that they've done. So that kind of depends. It's not like always like there's no like certain way how to do it. But every marketing like strategy is always good to be like to be I mean to look into different marketing strategies, like because everyone is doing different things. But in terms of community, it's the most the most success that people have seen, and that's once again that's the same thing everywhere. It's not just the NFT space. I don't know, like talking to other people, sharing their work, like in getting interested into what other people are doing. That's probably the best way to kind of rise into anything. That's why I'm saying it's not just the NFT space. Like whatever you do, it's the same thing.
Right, that it's not just you and you're interested in your own work, that there's an element of people being interested in each other's work and building for the community.
Exactly, exactly. But that's why I'm saying that like it's not that's not like exclusive only for the NFT space. And some people get mad about that, like, oh my god, like NFTs, community, etc. But that's literally what everyone in any branch of anything are doing. It's the same thing, I don't know, in music, in art, in drawing, I don't know, sports, whatever it is.
Basically, lift other people up around you,
Yeah,
and then that's
definitely.
a good way to get in for people if if
Definitely.
you want to get in, right?
I mean, you
Support.
by doing that, you also meet new people, you make friends, like I don't know, like you find new ways, like you learn new things. Like when you meet new people, you'll have the chance to learn new things, how they are doing things, what they've done, like if they're more successful or less successful. I mean, it doesn't mean like if someone is less successful that knows less than someone else. It's just it's just how things work, and it's always nice to support people. I mean, at least I love supporting people.
That's beautiful. I think that's really good advice for people trying to get in is make some friends, get in, support some people, share some tweets. Like how can people get in and start to interact with the community and support others? Like what are some ways that you see that are positive ways that people are supporting others in the space?
I guess sharing other people's work is usually the best way. Like I don't know, like talking to other, like getting involved into talks and topics that are interesting you. Usually Discord is pretty decent. I mean, Clubhouse is definitely open for that kind of for that kind of talks and topics. But Twitter Spaces can be a bit more tense because of the thing with less speakers where you don't have that many chances to talk, and Clubhouse is a bit more open. But Discord is definitely one of the places where you can talk to so many people. So just by going on the I don't know, like the bigger platforms, Discords, you'll find so many people that are doing so many different things that can where you can find things that are interesting you.
Wow. So you're talking about finding things that are interesting to you and just getting involved in
Yeah,
some way.
exactly. So I don't know, like let's say I'm interested into 3D. So I go to known origins page or super rares, not page, Discord. And I just go to their Discord server and there's a server that says like 3D art. So if I'm interested into 3D art, I would just jump in there and I'll see what's being talked, what's being shared there. People are always sharing their work in progress. You can share your work in progress if that's something that you're doing, and you'll get like feedback, which is something that's really nice. I mean, I love like hearing feedback for the works that I'm doing, because it's a lot different when you see something with your eyes and when you give it to other people to see it. There might be things that you haven't seen and that someone else can see them.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing here. I mean, there's just so much information that you've been able to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you to
Yeah. I really appreciate you getting on here and being present with us and sharing on the Doing Good HQ platform, and as it's shared across the internet, as we're as you too go out
yeah, and
share this.
shout out to Akash for this.
Exactly. Shout out to Akash. Love Akash.
Yeah, he's
Shout out to
amazing.
Akash.
He's amazing. Can't wait to hear him. We're having a clubhouse room tomorrow, and I can't wait to hear him.
24/7. Go at Akash. If you're not following NYC Akash and you're watching this at some point in time, go follow Akash.
You'll get
'Cause that's,
whoever is getting into NFTs, they'll get there. They'll definitely follow Akash one way or another.
it's true. It's true. It's true. So where can everybody find you at across the internet? What are your handles at this very moment? Even if they changed,
So
what are they right now?
right now on Instagram, I'm Darko.psd, like the file Photoshop extension, and on Twitter, I'm Darko R and 2 underscores. You can see a photo from Cubist tape.
Perfect. And Clubhouse?
I have no idea.
Just search for Darko, right?
Yeah, it should come up if it's just Darko.
Perfect. And you why don't you spell it out for us? Spell out
Darkor. That's like the Twitter handle, and 2 underscores. And Darko.psd is the Instagram handle.
Perfect. And I'm Aaron Jack. You can find me on Clubhouse at Aaron Jack, on Instagram at Aaron Jack Line Art, and on Twitter I am Aaron Jack 1. So thank you. And you can find where we are here at Doing Good HQ, DOINGUDHQ. So find that. We are here at Doing Good HQ, and I really appreciate Doing Good for making these possible. So we'll be here once a week, somewhere in the midweek, with a new amazing NFT human being, maybe a metaverse being, who knows? We'll see what happens. So I really appreciate what Doing Good is doing, and please make sure to check them out. I've been doing this series of Artist to Art, and this is a continuation. I've done about 160 some of these episodes. So go check that out on my IGTV and the Freedom Tapestry Project, with just amazing artists from around the world. And here the series is going to continue with NFT people, NFT beings. Can I call that NFT beings? Would you
Yeah,
like
I
to be an
guess
NFT
so.
being?
Because there are some beings actually that
But you're just like not sure. Are they like
yeah,
a human
that's
or
the
like a
crazy part with the
robot?
metaverse. Like, not Facebook's metaverse, like the real metaverse, let's say. It's so fun because you can meet so many characters, which, I mean, of course they're human, but in the metaverse, you never know.
You don't. And some people have like robotic voices and just strange shit going. You never know. You never
It's fun.
know. There's usually, I hope, some human behind them, but who knows what goes on with AI these days, right?
We had an AI. We still have it, like, actually.
Would you like to reveal the AI?
No, I can't do that.
So, okay, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience here?
Thanks for watching. Follow the club, Doing Good HQ. Follow Aaron, and yeah, I guess that's it.
And follow you.
Oh
Go
yeah,
go up
follow me.
here.
Also follow me.
Go follow. Point to all the directions. You'll eventually find it. Whenever now is. Point, like, share, follow, do all the things, make the things happen.
There's no subscribe button, but yeah, if there's a subscribe button, do subscribe.
The subscribe, the follow, the the join the club, like tap it, do all the taps. The wave even.
Everything.
We'll keep changing it left and right and up and down. We never know where it's going to be. We might be side by side. We might be vertical. We might just be a voice in your ear. You never know. We might be in person. You might see us in person one day. So That's a beautiful thing.
That's
So
happening for sure.
it does happen. So from your heart, what would you like to share? Is there anything that just needs to be shared with the world right now?
Uh, should I go like Miss World or something? Love, peace, and be human. Love each other. Yeah, but seriously, like, stay positive. Try not to burn yourself out, and yeah, do good things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Take care.
You too. It was nice talking to you.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.